and is holds the qualification as MSc PhD in environmental science, and he has cleared also SET, that is state eligibility test. His research specialization is that Dr. works focused on environmental sustainability and water resources. His key areas of expertise include hydrogeochemistry, and hydrochemistry, studying the chemical characteristics of groundwater pollution, specifically focusing on nitrate and fluoride contamination and its associated health risks, modeling and geo-hospital tools, utilizing artificial neural networks, GIS, Geographic Information Systems, as well as remote systems. And now he is active in the projects like he is the principal investigator for a SURE funded project titled Studies on Fluoride in Groundwater from Parts of Nanded District, Maharashtra. Implication for distribution, contamination and associated health risks. His collaborations with Dr. Uday L. Sahu and Dr. Deepak Panaskar on hydrological studies. Presently, he is the editorial board of scientific reports of Nature Journal and Discover Sustainability, Discover Geosciences. He is the list of the top 2 recent scientists of elsewhere. So this is the brief introduction of Professor Wag sir. Thank you.
आदरणीय वसंत वाघ सर यांना आमंत्रित करण्याच्या अगोदर मी त्यांच्या आठवणीतली एक गोष्ट सांगतो. आमच्या के महाविद्यालयात जिल्हास्तरीय आविष्काराचं आयोजन झालं होतं यावेळेस. तर त्याच्यात एक्सपर्ट म्हणून वाघ सर आले होते. तर मी त्या कमिटीमध्ये पण काम करत होतो. तर सरांनी इतकं सिरियस पद्धतीनं प्रत्येक मुलाचं वर्क बघितलं. तर ते मला फार ॲप्रिशिएट झालं आणि मी त्या दिवशी म्हटलं होतं पण सरांना की सर तुम्ही खूप छान पद्धतीनं सगळं हे केलं. तर एक सरांची आठवण की किती विद्यापीठातले लोक छान काम करतात तसे सगळेच चांगले काम करत असतात. आदरणीय वसंत वाघ सर.
Thank you, sir. Raini sir giving my very thorough introduction. Also thankful to organizers, Kulkarni sir, Sutkar sir and all committee members. Actually, I think most of the people from library science, anybody the research scholars, actually I have prepared this lecture for research scholars. So the research scholar, how they can write the papers, at least they have to know what are the indexings, then how they can make the scientific papers for the journals or for the conference papers. So I have planned my lecture accordingly. So initially my topic is scientific writing, publishing, indexing and research metrics. So the research scholars, they are pursuing PhD and research paper is very important because it gives the identity to that researchers, to the faculty. So if your paper is in a good journals, reputed journals, so it will show that is a broad audience will be there, that is more readers will be there. So accordingly I have to prepare it. So please, shall I start now? So how many research scholars are there? I think very few research scholars and most of them are senior faculty members. So anyway, I will start my lecture. Basically, in my lecture, I have focused on the scientific writing of the research papers, then what kind of the journals are there for the Scopus journals of Web of Science or Taylor and Francis. Second thing, that is what kind of the research publishing process are there. Second thing, that is we have know that is open access publications or subscription publications. Second thing, that is research plagiarism. I think that is Kulkarni sir is already delivered the talk on the research plagiarism, so I will not repeat these things. Then research indexing in a Web of Science, Scopus or the SCI or the Google Scholar. Second thing, that is the impact factors of the journals, because impact factor of the journal is very important, and it gives the, that is the influence of the your research articles. So impact factor may vary journal to journal, each journal giving the impact factors. Actually, the impact factor given by the Web of Science, that is the Clarivate analysis, might be you have know that, and the Scopus, they are giving the site score to the journals. Second thing, that is in a we know that is the Google Scholar Index or the Scopus or the Web of Science. So I will highlight some of the points. So what kind of the key significance of these indexing journals, and what kind of the expectations from the journals, from the authors. So next. Basically, the scientific writing, why we have make the scientific writing. Scientific writing is important for the researchers to give their ideas or to show their ideas, what are their area of the work or area of the research to the broad audience. So we know that that is the many of the journals is listed in national or international journals. So basically, we can write the research papers on different themes. We can write the books are there. We can write the research paper. We can write the review articles. We can write the abstract. So we can write the any research proposal to acquiring the grants. So that is, there is a multiple way of the scientific writing, and we have to learn about that is how to make the scientific writing. Next. Generally, in the research papers, there are different types. The analytical research. Second, that is the cause and effective research, then problem solution research, then survey related research papers, then argumental research paper, experimental on the report papers. Next. Basically, this is the theme, that is the when we have to start the writing. Actually, most of the people, they are doing the PhD. At that time, that is the data collections are there. Data collection is important. Maybe that is the primary data or the secondary data. Some of that is the field work will be there. Then that is the experimental works. Some of the lab works are there. So when you collect the data, after that, that is you have to make the interpretations and making certain kinds of the conclusions. And when you have your data is already prepared, then next step, that is you have to move towards the writing of the research papers. Next. You can go next slide. Okay. So in research articles, there are different key points are there, key elements of the research papers. Like that is the title will be there, abstracts will be there. That is some of the you can say that is the introduction sections. In introduction sections, you are giving the review of literature, then how many work researchers they have doing earlier work or previous studies. So you have to use their studies and compare your results. Second thing, that is the experimental works, that is material and methods. What kind of the methodologies you have been obtained? You have obtained different kinds of the data from government sources or even from your field observations or your analytical work. Second thing, that is the conclusions and reference sections. You have to give the other additional information, that is supplementary information. When you submit the research paper to the journals, there in some journals there is a page limit they have mentioned. So if your paper is lengthy paper, some material you can give as a supplementary materials, and the supplementary material is available with the journals when it is published in a online mode. Second thing, that is you have to give the acknowledgement in the sense that is someone is giving the funding to your research, or some of researchers, they are giving the source of the information or the data to you. So at that time you have to acknowledge. Another thing, that is you are giving the abbreviations, data availability. When you submit the paper to the research journal, you have to mention that is your data is available for these journals. Second thing, that is if any conflict of interest is there, you have to make the statements of that there will be no conflict of interest. If there any conflict of interest, you cannot submit the papers, or you have to clearly mention about the any kind of the conflict of interest are there. Second thing, that is the title page is there. In title page, you have to know, you have to giving the titles, then you are giving the authors' names, and you are giving the abstracts will be there. Okay. Then cover letter generally, right, when you submit the research papers to the journal, in cover letter you have to mention that is you have to write the letter to the editorial board member or editor, At that case, that is how your work is significant or is reliable. You can say that is reliable informations are there, reliable data is there, and there will be no conflict of interest. And this is a good article for possible publications in this journal. So this kind of the cover letter you have to prepare. Then the graphical abstract, and the another is that is the reviewer suggestions. Reviewer suggestions means that is most of the journals, that is in Spingers or in elsewhere, when you submit the journal, submit the paper to the journal, that if I am a editorial board member, now I am serving also editorial board member, many of the research papers when came to me, initially the editorial board members or editor is evaluated that paper. If he found that is this work is worth or there is a chances of the publications, at that time I will find the reviewers. I will find the reviewers and send these articles to that reviewers. Basically in a good reputed journal, 4 or 5 reviewers is mandatory. Okay, and at that case, after we are getting the comment from that reviewers. We have conveyed this comment to the authors, and after that, author fulfill that comments. Maybe there will be a couple of rounds of the revisions will be there. That is the 1 or 2nd rounds. At that case, the author can mention the comment, how the comment can be fulfilled by that authors, and again submit to the journals. So this is the different processes are involved in during the submission and the review process. Next please. Good, next please. As you know, that is the title is it's you can say it should be catchy, or it giving the information about your articles. So title giving, that is it will be meaningful, so the audience can understand that is what are the theme of your articles or what are the nature of your journals. Next please. The abstract is also important point. Abstract is the brief summary of your work. Maybe in abstract having the certain page word limit, maybe 200 to 500 word limit. It's basically it's depend on the journal guidelines, and abstract written style is vary as per the journals. And here, abstract, you can say that is when you read something, any kind of the articles, initially you have to read the abstract. If in abstract you will understand that is what are the themes of that paper, what are the significance, or what are the outcomes of that your work, then you are searching or you are looking the other parts of the manuscript. Next please. Introduction is also important part, most of them. We have to know what kind of the introduction parts, what are the objectives will be there, what are the themes of there, what are the previous studies has been carried out, what are the possible outcomes will be there. Then you have to identify the problems. Okay, when you identify the problems and what kind of the solutions are there. Solutions clearly mentioned in that introduction section. So you can say that is the introduction part is the, you can say that is the review of literatures. So how many papers you have been referred for your work. So this kind of the information is included in the introduction sections. Next please. The material and method part is also important, because in a scientific writing, I am talking about that is in a science research. Basically we have, that is the field works are there. We have to go to the field works for the collections of the data. Maybe that is the groundwater quality data assessment will be there, or soil quality, or any kind of the geological structures we have to find out. So that is at that case we are using different kinds of the materials like toposit, or that is satellite imagery we have been used. So at that time, when we acquire the data in material and method sections, we have to mention that is where you acquire the data, what kind of the toposits will be there, what are their scales will be there. We are using different kinds of the instruments. So at that case, in the instruments, what kind of the instruments, when we are doing the analysis, we have to mention that is what are the analytical accuracies will be there, analysis accuracy. So these things are covered in the material and methods part. Next. The result and discussion part is also important parts. It is, you can say that is the core area of your work. And here, whatever your data will be there, whatever your results will be there, how you can interpret your results. And these results, when you compare with the previous studies or any other studies, and at that time, in result and discussion part, you are using different things, different kinds of the techniques you have been used. Statistical techniques will be there, different kind of the algorithms will be there, or we are using earth science study, that is we are preparing the maps and all these things. So most of the part, that is in a result and discussion part section is very strong, should be in a manuscript writing. Next, please. Next. The conclusion is the last part. In conclusion is the, you can say that is it's a brief summary or brief outcome of your work. So in conclusion part, that is many times people, they can do the mistake. Their abstract and conclusions, both sections are looking similar. So it should not be similar, because in abstract you can mention that is what are the area, what are your objectives will be there, what will be the material and methods. Okay, and in outcomes, I mean that is the conclusion sections, that is what is your results, what is your findings, what will be your recommendations. So that is a brief summary of your work. Next, please. This is for your information, this is a graphical abstract. In a graphical abstract, basically that is you can see that is some Scopus journals or the Springer journals, where we will find out that is a graphical abstract. In this graphical abstract, you can easily understand that is what kind of the material and methods are being used. You can say that is this in the flow chart will be given. I have given that is one satellite imageries, and another thing that is I have given some structures will be there. That is the rainwater harvesting structures we are proposed in that watershed. So it should be it look like a catchy. That is in a one graphical abstract we can easily understand that is what kind of the methods being used, what kind of the study area will be there, where it is located. Okay, so this kind of the complete informations will be showing in a one single diagram. So therefore graphical abstract is also important. Next. This is the flow chart. Most of them you have to know that is in a flow chart. That is a different information, different processes will be there. Most of the things I have covered already. That is in introduction, you can remember 3 questions. That is what you are going to study. Okay, and second thing, that is why you are going to study and how you have to study. So in introduction sections, you can keep in your mind that is 3 questions. That is what, why, and how. So when you know that is how means that is your material and methods parts will be there. Why, that means your objective will be there. And what you are going to study, that is what kind of the works or what are the significance of your work you have to highlight it. In a review of literature, it is also important parts, that is the why and how you can do the review of literatures. Secondly, that is the methodology sections and the preliminary data you have collected from different sources. Then the statement of limitations. Many times we are trying to focus our only positive points in the research papers. But in that case, that is you have certain limitations will be there in your work. You have not complete your work due to certain problems may be there. You don't have the instruments may be there. You don't have the sufficient funding will be there. So this kind of the statements you have to make it. That is you are lacking fundings. Second thing, that is what kind of the possible outcomes will be there. What is your will be the future prospectus of that work. So you have to mention all these things. And conclusion, I already told you, it is a brief summary of your work. You have to mention, precisely mention that is what are the conclusion parts, what are the summaries in a limited words, maybe 500 or 1000 words. You have to mention or you have to give the conclusions very precisely. Next, please. Here, most of the people you are from library science, you have know that is what are the open access and the subscriptions. Open access means that is in certain journals, they have charging the article processing charge, that is the APC. But the benefit is that is the APC charge we have to give to the journals, and your article may be published in any open access journals. It will be freely available to anyone. Anybody can download it. And another thing, that is some journals, they are on hybrid mode. Hybrid mode means they can accept the article processing charge. If you don't have the funds, at that case, you can choose the option that is the subscriptions. And another is that is a hybrid mode. Hybrid mode, that is both, that is open access and subscription, both are there. Because in a reputed journals, that is like some of the journals, that is from Spingers or the elsewhere, their article processing charge is too much. That is $2,500, $3,000. So this kind of the article processing charge, and we don't have that funds. At that case, to choose the option that is the open access. If you are getting the funds, if that is some journals, might be Kulkarni sir knows that is last time we have discussed it. that is if your institutes, they are taking the subscriptions, and at that case, you will waive off the article processing charge of that journal. Next. Next. I already told that is the cover letter. You have to mention what are the significance, what are the objectives of your work, and you have to, those are the submitting authors, corresponding author we can say. He can write the letter to the editorial board, and how he can mention that is how its work is significant or suitable to that particular journal. Next please. Abbreviation we already know it. Next please. You can use language basically in international journal, that is the English language can be used. Some national journals our original languages can be used. Next. Next. You all know that it is we are giving the reference, but it's last 10-15 years it is quite easy when Google Scholar came. Otherwise we have to write the reference, we have to write their names, initials, then what are the paper titles will be there, when it was published, you have to mention the year, you have to some journals that is short forms will be there. Okay. In a different styles will be there. You just go to the Google Scholar, you will find that the different styles will be there, and you can copy this reference and paste in your journal manuscript. Next. So this is the examples, that is I have to giving the, that is you can use different styles. The referencing style is also different based on the guidelines. Next please. Next please. So in a basically it is a, if research scholars are there, then I will elaborate these things, but all are experienced staffs, so I will not write that is when to start the writing, how to collect the data, and all these things. So next please. So the another thing that is when in a writing stage, that is a pre-writing, writing and post-writing. As you know, that is when we writing the papers, we have to make the rough draft will be there. In a rough draft, at least you have to read this article 2-3 times. You can find out that is what kind of the lacunas will be there, what kind of the material and methods, all the sections are covered or not. You have giving the weightage to the other researchers, means that is their review of articles, some of the review articles or the published articles, they are properly cited or not. So when you prepare the manuscript, initially you can go for that is the journals guidelines. What are the journal guidelines will be there, and accordingly you have to prepare the articles. Otherwise what happens, that is you have to return your abstract in 300 or 400 words, and you have not read the journal guidelines, and journal is asking only that is 150 words. Again you have to omit some sentence or omit some words. So avoid that process, or avoid this you can say that is for time saving. Initially you can read the journal guidelines. Next please. The time management is also important when you writing the research papers. Basically what happens, that is when we submit the manuscript to the journals, international journals, it take more time. Sometimes it take that is 1 year, 2 years is also required for the submission to the publication process. And in between that, that is different kinds of the reviewer comments will be there. When you submit the reviewer comments, that is R1 we can say, that is revision 1, revision 2, revision 3. So there is a couple of revisions are took place at the time of the from submission to the publications. Next please. Therefore the important thing, that is the topic selections, time management is also important. Next please. The topic selections is also important, that is in some journals they are having certain special issues, and they are focusing on certain parameters. For example, one journal is the environmental and earth science, they are focusing on the groundwater contamination, hydrogeochemistry. From your library science, some journal only focus on that particular aspects or particular topic of that journals. So if you have written the manuscript and submit to the journals, and the editorial board will not take decision for 1 or 2 months, means that is and after that they have sending to the reply to you, that is your publication is not suitable to our journals. Okay, so you can submit in another journal. So in that case, that is what are the key issues or what are the key elements of that journals. Okay, what are their contents will be there. You can initially read the carefully and submit accordingly. Next please. Next please. I already told you that is the content is important. That is, you can mention present your data in tables and figures. You can use a language that is acceptable language of that journals. Choosing journals, you have to prepare the draft and submitting draft to the supervisor. Suppose any research scholars will be there, and he has written the draft and directly submitted to the journals. Maybe it is certain kinds of the problems will create. So at that case, for the if it is reviewed by the supervisor or the guide, so it will be help to strengthen the manuscript quality. Next, please. Next. Basically, when you are submitted, that is the topic of my paper is within the research format. Next, please. Will it match the audience? And ask your mentors or the senior researchers or your senior friends. So these journals, our article is suitable for that journals or not. Then another thing, that is the impact factor, is also very important. Many times we have publishing the articles, it doesn't have the impact factors, or it doesn't indexing in the SCI journals or the Web of Science database. So that is if impact factor is there, that is it will be shown more influencing. Another thing, that is you can see that is these are the you can go to that flow chart. You will find that is the different aspects or the guidelines can be followed by the journals. Initial submissions will be there, then it goes to the editor, then editor can send to the review. After that, reviewer can send their comments. After that, the comments is received to the editor. Editor can give the decisions, that is we can say that is the decision letter to the, he send the decision letter to the corresponding authors. Again, corresponding author can go through the comments raised by the reviewers. He fulfills that comments, and again he has to resubmit the manuscript. And after that, again this manuscript, that is your revised manuscript, goes to the reviewer. Those reviewer have already given some comments, earlier comments. Again after that, when he has satisfied, then he has given the decisions. After that, he has submitted this decision to the editorial board or the editor, and editor can convey his decisions. Maybe that is the accept, reject, or the major revision, minor revision. So this kind of process is during from the submission to the publications. So therefore, I told you that is for the choosing a correct journals is very important. And it's many of the journals is take that is 1 year or 2 years also from their submissions. Next, please. So I already explained. Next. So this is the only, that is for the what are the stages are during the submissions to the publication. Next, please. So you can see here that is suppose this is the one article that is in a marine pollution bulletins. So what kind of the actions are taking, you will get that is the numbers will be there, and you will find that is what are the status of your manuscript when you are submitted, that is under review. Okay, that is another, like that is it is ready for decision, review is completed. So you can check from your editorial website, that is what are the status of your submitted manuscript. Next. So you can see here that is suppose I am one of the reviewer of this journals, and another reviewers will be there, and based on the reviewer comments, the author can, the editor can take the decisions. So this kind of the informations or this kind of the database is available to the journals and the editorial board website. Next, please. Might be that is Kulkarni sir is already told you about the research plagiarism. But research plagiarism is also you have to copy something or certain materials, so you can properly acknowledge these things. Next, please. Next, please. So anything can be plagiarized. Okay, you have to taking any kind of the procedures are there, methods are there. You are taking any kind of the photographs, any kind of the figures. Next, please. Next, that is the self plagiarism is also important. In a self plagiarism, when we have published the articles in a research journals, and simultaneously I have to submit my thesis to the library, and they are checking our plagiarism and our articles, that is the self plagiarisms. Okay, those are published. But at that case, you have to avoid also this self plagiarism. Even the UGC is not allowed the self plagiarism. You can change you have to modify this text Next, please. Next. Next. Because the Kulkarni sir you have already covered, so I will not repeat these things. Next, please. Next. So this kind of you can say that is highlighted words, it is a plagiarize. So it is our articles and we have to when check it, that is what kind of the reports you can please. Next. So this kind of that is the 15% plagiarisms will be there. And we will find that is what are the sources, acquire this information or acquire this data. Maybe it's publications from the Shodh Ganga or from the research articles from different journals. So it will be easily reflect. Next. We know that is different kinds of the softwares are there, like Authenticate, Turnitin, Drillbit. So different softwares are available to check the plagiarism content. Next, please. The impact factor, just I already told you that is the impact factor is a very important things, important for the journals influence, because in SCI journals they are asking the impact factor, and I told you that is the Web of Science or the Clarivate, Publons, they are giving the impact factor to the journals, and the impact factor change every year. Okay, so how much publications will be published in that 2 years, we can say, and how much citations will be there. So based on their ratio, that is the impact factor can be given. And I told you that is the Scopus journals, they are giving the site score, and the site score, for that site score, they have measure or they have considering the 3 years publications and 3 years citations. Next, please. So you can, here I am giving the impact factors. Next, please. The impact factor is important for your self-respect, you can say, to enhance your research quality. Second thing, that is it's giving what are the journals, maybe from Taylor and Francis, Wiley will be there, or the CS journals. They are giving the impact factor on the front page of that journals. Okay, so pass minute. Okay, next, please. The impact factor can be used in different ways by the institutions, and it is also gives the importance to the individual researchers. Next, please. Next, please. Next. You can find here that is the different journals, and they are giving their impact factors. Next. Next. You can see here that is the next, please. Another ranking is that is the SGR ranking, then IPP and the SNP articles. We'll find that is these are the internationally database. They have collected the information from the different journals, and they have prepared the guidelines for the publishing the articles. Next, please. The next. Next, please. Here we have to know that is important things in scientific writing, that is the journal level matrix. Journal level matrix, that is what are the impact factors are there, then what are their citations will be there, then what are the articles, how many articles, what are their subscriptions will be there, then author level matrix, then the ultimate matrix. Next, please. Next. Here the Web of Science journals, you will find that is suppose you have journals, in a front page you will find that is how these papers can be cited multiple times. Then you will give that give the complete information of that articles. Next, please. Next. You can see here that is suppose this is the cover page of the journals, front page, and here when you submit the manuscript, you will give the complete information, like that is what are the site score, what are the impact factors, where this journal is indexing, okay, then how much that is the downloads will be there. So all the information, the required information is given by the front page of that journals. Next. This I already told that is the site score is given by the Scopus and the elsewhere. Next, please. Next, please. Here in a Web of Science, that is some of the Publons. Next, please. They have, suppose I have some certain 1,000 citations will be there, and they have making that is a citation maps. Suppose my articles can be used by any person from Sri Lanka, Nepal, or any other countries. So when I locate map and I have moved the cursor, and I will find that is in which area, in which state, in which country, from which institution, who is cited your articles. So you can check on the Web of Science So this is the, you can say that is the information is available by the Web of Science. Next please. This is also important things, that is the contents of journals. Many times you have heard that is this journal is listed in UGC care or not. Okay, so this kind of the provision was there, but earlier, recently that is they have removed the UGC care journals. The institute can decide that is where, that is which journals you have specified for the your academic or any other CAS purpose or any other, that is in a publication purpose. Next please. Next. That is you can search, that is if you have to find out that is these articles or the journals is listed in a Web of Science or not. So you go to the Web of Science homepage and find type the name of that journals. Homepage and type the name of that journals, and you will find out that is if journal is there, it will show the results. Next please. Similarly, that is in a Scopus also you can search the articles. Next. The research square, it is also, that is a new concept came. It is came last 2-3 years. That is when you are submitting the manuscript to the journals, they have collaboration with the Springer journals, the research square. And when you go to submit the manuscript to the Springer journals, there is options are there. The Springer journals, they can give them, that is they also transfer this manuscript to the research square. And in research square, that is, it will give the DOI number, that is a digital object identifier numbers will be there, and it will be commonly available to anyone. Generally what happens when we submit the when we submit the manuscript, that is reviewer can give the comments. But in a research square, the general audience or the general researchers or those are the doing similar kind of work, they can give their opinion, they can give their suggestions. So accordingly, that is it helps to that authors to fulfill their comments. Next please. Next. You have know that is the DOI numbers. Next please. The ORC ID, that is anybody can generate the ORC ID, and whatever your articles will be deposited there. If you have review something, review articles, that is also it is added there. Next please. Next. Everybody knows the Google Scholar. Next please. Next. Next. The ED Scientific Index, they have mentioned that is the last articles published in a quality journals. Articles published in a quality journals. Next. Next. Actually, it is the end of my speech. Next, please. Next. Thank you. Actually, I conclude now this my lectures. I am thankful to Prashant Sutkar sir, Kulkarni sir, and the principal of this college, Shinde sir. They have invited me as a resource person. Initially, they have told me that is the research scholars are there, but I found here that is the people from different backgrounds, and most of that is from library science, and you people are already know it. If you have any questions, then you can ask me. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. When we are submitting the articles to the standard journals, I am talking about standard journals, you have to mention that you have not used any ChatGPT or any kind of the AI tools. Okay, AI tools are there. You are using that is this language is ultimately that is it is identified, and yeah, it's mandatory. In some journals, they have prescribedly you have to know that mention that is you have not used any AI or ChatGPT tools. Because what the ChatGPT and AI, they are whatever the information is available on the Googles or the Wikipedia, this information they are showing you. Okay. Okay. If you have any questions.
Morning session there was question for me. Just pass on. Is there any software which can detect plagiarism free of cost for entire document?
Entire document it is not possible. Only some, that is you can check one paragraph or one page or 2 page. Okay. But maybe there is chances of that is it is stored in their repository. When you are submitting the article to the journals, it will show that it is submitted to that software. So best way that is you cannot use any free softwares. Okay, That is, those are the subscription-based softwares. You can use only that software. So there will be authenticity and data your preservations. If you have any questions, thank you.
हो रिपोर्ट हो ठीक आहे. खूप खूप धन्यवाद सर. रिसर्च स्कॉलर आणि सर्वच ग्रंथपाल प्राध्यापक वर्गांचा अतिशय जिव्हाळ्याच्या विषयावर तुम्ही अत्यंत सविस्तर आणि अत्यंत महत्त्वपूर्ण असं मार्गदर्शन केलं. या सेशनचा रेपोर्टियरचा रिपोर्ट आहे तो सादर करण्यासाठी मी चव्हाण सरांना विनंती करतो. ओके ठीक आहे. आपल्याला लगेच दुसरं टेक्निकल सेशन सुरू करायचं असल्यामुळे वेळेअभावी या सेशनचे अध्यक्ष मी सोनटेक सरांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी 2च मिनिटात आपलं अध्यक्ष समारोप करावा. धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद सर. कुलकर्णी सरांनी 2 लाईनमध्ये सांगितले आणि चोबे सरांनी 2 मिनिटामध्ये सांगितले. धन्यवाद. आपला जास्त वेळ घेणार नाही पण या सेशनचं वैशिष्ट्य सांगावं असं वाटतं. कुलकर्णी सर किंवा आपल्या समोर जे बसलेले ऑडियन्स आहेत पार्टिसिपंट, ही वर्कशॉप किंवा कॉन्फरन्स हे लायब्ररी सायन्सची जरी असली तरी या ठिकाणी विशेषत्वाने सांगावे लागेल की डेप्युटी इंजिनियर असणारे मिस्टर भीमराव हटकर सर या ठिकाणी पार्टिसिपंट म्हणून उपस्थित आहेत. त्यांचं जोरदार टाळ्यांच्या गजरात आपण स्वागत केलं पाहिजे आणि ते अबव 60+ आहेत. सरांच्या बाबतीमध्ये डॉक्टर वसंत वाघ सरांनी अतिशय महत्त्वाचा आणि रिसर्च स्कॉलरसाठी महत्त्वाचा असणारा विषय यावरती आपलं भाष्य केलेलं आहे, अभ्यासपूर्ण भाष्य केलेलं आहे. हाऊ टू राईट द रिसर्च पेपर्स इन डिटेल सांगितलेलं आहे. वाघ सरांना सांगण्याला अडचण नाही की या ठिकाणी रिसर्चर कमी आहेत आणि रिसर्च गाईड जास्त आहेत असं सांगावंसं वाटतं. तरी पण आपण खूप छान पद्धतीनं या ठिकाणी एक्सप्लेन केलं. नक्कीच रिसर्चर जे आहेत की आपल्या व्याख्यानाचा फायदा घेतील आणि त्यांच्या रिसर्चमध्ये ते चांगल्या पद्धतीनं रिसर्च वर्क करू शकतील. थँक्यू सरांना देईल. वाघ सरांना या ठिकाणी वाघ सरांना अशी विनंती करतोय की या महाविद्यालयाच्या वतीने मोमेंटो आणि प्रमाणपत्र आणि दुसरं एक वैशिष्ट्य की हे जे कॉन्फरन्स आयोजित केलं आहे ते ग्रंथालय शास्त्राच्या प्रोफेशनलवाल्यांनी नाही तर मॅथमॅटिशियननी केलंय. तेव्हा सुतकर सरांसाठी एकदा जोरदार टाळ्यांच्या गजरात स्वागत करूया आणि वाघ सरांना विनंती करतोय कृपया आपण मोमेंटो स्वीकारायचं.
वाघ सरांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी सोनटके सरांचा यथोचित सत्कार करावा. सरांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी सोनटके चव्हाण सरांचा सर्टिफिकेट देऊन सत्कार करा. आभार सर. या फर्स्ट टेक्निकल सेशनचे अध्यक्ष म्हणून सोनटके सर लाभले यांचे मी आभार व्यक्त करतो. तसेच रॅपोर्टियर म्हणून चव्हाण सर लाभले यांचे पण आभार व्यक्त करतो. तसेच वाघ सर हे रिसोर्स पर्सन म्हणून लाभले यांचे आभार व्यक्त करून हे सेशन ओव्हर झालं इथे घोषणा करतो. थँक्यू.
आणि त्यानंतर ह्या सत्रासाठी चेअरपर्सन म्हणून मी आदरणीय डॉक्टर विजयकुमार पायकराव सर यांना विनंती करतोय की ते या दुसऱ्या सत्राचे चेअरपर्सन म्हणून या ठिकाणी उपस्थित राहायचं आहे. आणि त्यानंतर ह्या दुसऱ्या सत्राचे रॅपोटर म्हणून आदरणीय डॉक्टर शोभा सुळसुळे मॅडम यांना विनंती करतोय त्यांनी ह्या दुसऱ्या सत्रामध्ये या ठिकाणी उपस्थित राहायचं आहे. थोड्याच वेळामध्ये ऑनलाईन स्वरूपामध्ये आपल्याला मार्गदर्शन करण्यासाठी आदरणीय प्रोफेसर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर या ठिकाणी उपस्थित होणार आहेत. त्यापूर्वी या ठिकाणी ऑनलाईन स्वरूपात राजेंद्र कुंभार सर या ठिकाणी मार्गदर्शन करत आहेत. त्यांचं प्रथमतः मी आपल्या सर्वांच्या वतीनं आणि आयोजन समितीच्या वतीने त्यांचं शब्दसमूहाने या ठिकाणी हार्दिक स्वागत करतो. आणि ह्या दुसऱ्या सत्रामध्ये जे रॅपोटर आणि चेअरपर्सन या ठिकाणी उपस्थित झालेले आहेत त्यांचं देखील या ठिकाणी शब्दसमूहाने स्वागत करतो आणि त्यांचा पुष्पगुच्छ देऊन सत्कार करण्यासाठी प्रथमतः आम्ही आदरणीय विजयकुमार नरवाडे सर यांना विनंती करतोय की त्यांनी या द्वितीय सत्राचे चेअरपर्सन डॉक्टर विजयकुमार पायकराव सर यांचा पुष्पगुच्छ देऊन स्वागत करावं. विजयकुमार नरवाडे सर. थँक्यू सर. त्यानंतर ह्या द्वितीय सत्राचे रॅपोटर आदरणीय डॉक्टर शोभा सरसुळे मॅडम यांचं या ठिकाणी स्वागत करण्यासाठी मी वैष्णवी राजूरकर मॅडम यांना विनंती करतोय की त्यांनी त्यांचा सत्कार करावा. वैष्णवी राजूरकर मॅडम. धन्यवाद मॅडम. या ठिकाणी सर्वात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे ह्या द्वितीय सत्रामध्ये जे सर्व आपले ग्रंथालय व्यावसायिक बंधू तसेच इतर विषयातील व्यावसायिक बंधू या ठिकाणी उपस्थित आहेत त्यांचं देखील या ठिकाणी मनपूर्वक स्वागत. आणि यानंतर सर्वात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे या ठिकाणी आपल्याला जे ऑनलाईन मार्गदर्शन करणार आहेत आदरणीय प्रोफेसर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर या ठिकाणी ऑनलाईन उपस्थित असतीलच. यूट्यूबवर ते उपस्थित आहेत. तत्पूर्वी एक औपचारिकतेचा भाग म्हणून त्यांचा तसे तर डॉक्टर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर हे ग्रंथालय व माहितीशास्त्रामधील तज्ज्ञ व्यक्तिमत्व आहेत. ते सर्वांना परिचित आहेत. परंतु या सत्राचा भाग म्हणून त्यांचा संक्षिप्त स्वरूपामध्ये या ठिकाणी ओळख करून देणं आवश्यक आहे. त्या अनुषंगाने या ठिकाणी आदरणीय कुंभार सर ऑनलाईन उपस्थित आहेत. त्यांचं पुन्हा एकदा शब्दसमूहाने या ठिकाणी हार्दिक स्वागत आहे. आणि आपल्या सर्वांचा जास्तीचा वेळ न घेता या अनोख्या सत्रामध्ये स्वागत सर. आदरणीय सरांचे या ठिकाणी आमच्या सर्वांच्या वतीने मनपूर्वक स्वागत सर. या अनोख्या सत्रामध्ये आदरणीय आमचे प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर यांचा संक्षिप्त स्वरूपामध्ये परिचय करून देण्यासाठी आदरणीय डॉक्टर विलास काळे सरांना विनंती करतो की सरांचा या ठिकाणी परिचय करून द्यावा.
सर्वांना नमस्कार. मी डॉक्टर विलास काळे. मी डॉक्टर प्राध्यापक राजेंद्र कुमार सरांचा परिचय करून देण्यासाठी ते उभा आहे. कुंभार सरांचं नाव माहीत नाही असं कोणी महाराष्ट्रातले किमान ग्रंथालय व माहितीशास्त्रामध्ये तरी असं कोणी व्यक्तिमत्व नाही. तरी पण मी सरांचा अतिशय कमी शब्दामध्ये परिचय करून देण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो. डॉक्टर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर हे ग्रंथालय आणि माहितीशास्त्र क्षेत्रातील एक अत्यंत प्रतिष्ठित असे व्यक्तिमत्व आहे. तसे ते एक अनुभवी लेखक व प्राध्यापक आहेत. प्रामुख्याने त्यांनी सावित्रीबाई फुले पुणे विद्यापीठ येथील त्यांच्या प्रदीर्घ सेवेसाठी ते ओळखले जातात. त्यांनी सावित्रीबाई फुले पुणे विद्यापीठाच्या ग्रंथालय आणि माहितीशास्त्र विभागात वरिष्ठ प्राध्यापक तसेच विभाग प्रमुख म्हणून सुद्धा कार्य केलेले आहे. त्यांना या क्षेत्रातील अध्यापन आणि संशोधनाचा 30 वर्षाहून अधिकचा काळाचा दांडगा असा अनुभव आहे. डॉक्टर कुंभार सर यांनी ग्रंथालयशास्त्रामध्ये आधुनिक तंत्रज्ञानाचा वापर करण्यावर विशेष भर दिलेला आहे. त्यांचे संशोधन क्षेत्र हे प्रामुख्याने ग्रंथालय व्यवस्थापन, वर्गीकरण आणि तालिकीकरण, माहिती शोधण्याचे तंत्र तसेच डिजिटल लायब्ररी या क्षेत्रावर त्यांचा विशेष भर आहे. तसेच त्यांनी मराठी आणि इंग्रजी या दोन्ही भाषांमधून या विषयावर मोलाचे लेखन केलेले आहे. त्यांची काही महत्त्वाची पुस्तकंही आहेत. ग्रंथालय आणि माहितीशास्त्र संज्ञाकोश विशेषतः त्यांचं गाजलेलं पुस्तक आहे. या क्षेत्रातील तांत्रिक शब्दांची माहिती देणारा हा अत्यंत उपयुक्त असा कोश आहे. तसेच त्यांनी संशोधन पद्धतीवर अनेक प्रकारचे लेखन केले आहे. त्यातलेच एक पुस्तक म्हणजे संशोधन पद्धती. हे पुस्तक संशोधक विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी त्यांनी लिहिलेले अत्यंत मार्गदर्शक असे पुस्तक आहे. प्रगत ग्रंथालय व्यवस्थापन हे एक त्यांचं आणखीन एक लिहिलेलं पुस्तक आहे. ग्रंथालयांच्या आधुनिक प्रशासनावर त्यांनी विपुल असे लेखन केले आहे. त्यांचे अनेक शोध निबंध, रिसर्च पेपर राष्ट्रीय आणि आंतरराष्ट्रीय नियतकालिकामध्ये प्रसिद्ध झाले आहेत. विशेष वैशिष्ट्ये आणि ओळख सांगायची तर त्यांनी नेटसेटच्या विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी अनेक असे मोलाचे मार्गदर्शन केलेले आहे. त्यांच्या मार्गदर्शनाखाली महाराष्ट्रातील बरेच विद्यार्थी नेटसेट उत्तीर्ण होऊन विविध ग्रंथालयामध्ये त्यांनी असे आपले करिअर घडवले आहे. अभ्यासक्रम निर्मितीमध्ये त्यांचा महाराष्ट्राच्या विद्यापीठामध्ये सिंहाचा वाटा आहे. विद्यापीठ स्तरावर ग्रंथालय आणि माहितीशास्त्राच्या आधुनिक अभ्यासक्रम तयार करण्यात त्यांचा फार मोठा सिंहाचा वाटा आहे. तसेच ते एक उत्कृष्ट व्याख्याते म्हणून सर्व महाराष्ट्रभर परिचित आहेत. क्लिष्ट म्हणजे अवघड विषय अत्यंत सोप्या भाषेत कसा समजून सांगायचा ही त्यांची हातोटी आहे. या हातोटीसाठी ते एक हाडाचे शिक्षक म्हणूनही महाराष्ट्रामध्ये ग्रंथालय आणि माहितीशास्त्र या क्षेत्रामध्ये ओळखले जातात. अशा प्रकारे मी अतिशय थोडक्या शब्दामध्ये सरांचा परिचय करून दिलेला आहे. तरी मी इथे थांबतो.
धन्यवाद सर. सरांनी अगदी संक्षिप्त स्वरूपामध्ये म्हणत सरांचा सविस्तर असा या ठिकाणी परिचय करून दिलेला आहे. आदरणीय प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर यांना आपण सर्वच जण ओळखतो. सर हे ग्रंथालय माहितीशास्त्रातले ज्ञानमहर्षी म्हणून आम्हाला परिचित आहेत आणि आमच्यासाठी ते गुरुवरी आहेत. जास्तीचा आपला वेळ न घेतात आदरणीय डॉक्टर राजेंद्र कुंभार सरांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी ऑनलाईन स्वरूपामधून आम्हाला उपस्थितांना मार्गदर्शन करावं.
आणि या सत्राचे जे अध्यक्ष आहेत पैकराव सर, सुसोई मॅडम, रेप्युट चेअर आणि वाघमारे सर, इट इज रिअली माय प्लेजर टू टॉक टू यू ऑन दिस ओकेजन. खरं तर मला दोन्ही आयोजकांचे खरं तर दिलगिरी व्यक्त करायची की मी प्रत्यक्ष येऊ शकलेलो नाहीये. काही कामामुळे खरं तर मला प्रत्यक्ष तिथे येऊन तुमच्याशी संवाद साधायला आवडला असतो. Since this is actually a multidisciplinary conference and this is on the topic called role of libraries and institutions in research and publications. It is very true, friends, that libraries play a wonderful role in research, increasing the quantity and quality of research. Same is the case with every educational institution or every research institute. Of course, that must have been already talked by many other speakers and maybe even further spoken tomorrow also. I am specifically interested to speak with you a little different topic. That is, since you have been talking about the role of libraries in research and role of institutions in research and publications, I'm interested to talk to you about role of reading in research. See, reading is a unique feature of human beings. No other animals on the earth can read and write. This is considered as one of the most valuable and most useful invention in the whole of the humanity, in the human history. And see, we can prove that we are totally different from any other animals by virtue of reading. And of course, the result of reading is writing. Friends, ideally speaking, as equal importance to reading is there to research itself. If I say that 100% or 100 hours are invested in research, of that 50% time must be invested in research itself. That is one of the parameter of your research that improves its quality. It is your research that ultimately will help you to get published and noticed at international level. I always believe that whatever may be the step of research, right from identification of the research problem, formulation of the research problem, preparing the research proposal itself, conducting literature review, writing the review, or even analysis and interpretation, and finally writing your research reports. In every step, I tell you, a quality is added by your reading related with that particular step. Now, you will be saying, sir, we are already actually, we read for writing research, for conducting research, for talking about research. Yes, friends, you must be doing, and that is why you must have published quality research. In that case, this my presentation is particularly, or my appeal is particularly for those people who are novice to the research and teaching, who have just entered into it. For them, this is an appeal actually. Why? We all know that the quantity of reading, the quality of reading is decreasing day by day. Yes, and we know the reasons for that. Let's not go into that, because we just want to know how research improves our quality of research, and for that purpose let us know why to read, and then of course what to read as a researcher. And then, yes, I am also going to talk about the techniques of reading, how to read. This is equally applicable to researchers across these disciplines and subjects. It is equally applicable to my friends, librarian friends. They must be actually large in number in this particular conference. So, every research step is actually enhanced by your reading. Reading is also important for researcher to change their attitude. See, it is said that a researcher becomes researcher by attitude itself, by having the mindset of rationality. Research is all about rationality. You try to find out what is happening and why it is happening. त्या कारणांचा शोध हेच तर खरं तर संशोधनातलं मूळ गमत आहे. कुठलीही जी काही गोष्ट घडते त्याच्या मागे कुठली कारणं आहेत, आणि ती कारणं शोधण्याचा जो माइंडसेट असतो, तो जो दृष्टिकोन असतो, तो जो अप्रोच असतो, तो अप्रोच वाचनाने एकतर निर्माण होतो आणि आधीचा चुकीचा असला तर तो करेक्ट होतो. येस, इट इज सो इम्पॉर्टंट. इट सेट्स राईट युअर अप्रोच, युअर ॲटिट्यूड towards everything that you see, you read, you talk about, and that is. So we are, as reading researchers, we always say that reading is a change maker. All that what we talk otherwise superstitions, they are all been dissolved. They have been gradually disappearing from the society by virtue of our rational thinking, our logical thinking. And that logical thinking is injected in the mind of the human being by reading. So that is as a change maker element, you must read. And of course, to get knowledge, it is said that knowledge can be gained either by observations, all those field works, or of course by attending the classes. That page is out now for you people because you are already on the other side of educational activities. And the third mechanism to get knowledge is of course reading, I tell you. And reading is such a useful techniques for gaining knowledge because you can read at any time, any place, any time of your life also. Because your formal education, your age of gaining formal knowledge is automatically being limited, maybe by 25 years, 30 years. Once you are in a job, otherwise, we consider now I need not to gain more knowledge. It is the reading that helps you in every step of it. That is another reason why even researchers must read, teachers must read. And most importantly, I tell you, unless you read research, how will the consumption of research will increase? Then it will be only one side of it. Everybody is publishing. The research data suggests that average 50 lakh articles are published per year. Point is that, of that, what percentage we are consuming, what percent we are reading. Remember, unless and until there is consumption of the product that are produced, the market will otherwise collapse. It is going to happen with reading also. एवढ्या मोठ्या प्रमाणावर वाचन साहित्य निर्माण होतंय आणि त्याचं वाचनाचं प्रमाण जर कमी 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 व्हायला लागलं तर ते जे डिस्प्रपोर्शनेट निर्माण होणार आहे समाजामध्ये, प्रचंड इम्बॅलन्स अकॅडमिक अँड रिसर्च फील्ड मध्ये होणार आहे, ह्याच्यासाठी. अँड देन ऑफकोर्स टू अप्लाय नॉलेज. हाऊ डू यू अप्लाय द रिसर्च? Otherwise also I tell you at present, research to application, research to policy making, the proportion is very, very, I tell you, a disproportionate one, imbalanced one. How many of the researchers conducted are applied? How many of the research reports are converted into policy documents? Very few. Why? Because research is not read at all. We as researchers, as producers of researchers, as aggressive producers of researchers, we must be aggressive consumers of research also, and that is why we must read research. And most importantly, I tell you friend, particularly for teaching fraternity and researchers also, research, conducting research doesn't end with only what you call collecting data, analyzing it. Ultimately, it has to be published in the form of research articles, maybe in the form of research report, maybe in the form of doctoral thesis, right? ही जी सगळी रिसर्च कम्युनिकेट करण्याची जी माध्यम आहेत, ती माध्यम प्रभावी होण्यासाठी, त्यातलं लिखाण प्रभावी होण्यासाठी आपल्याकडे खूप चांगली व्होकॅब्युलरी असण्याची गरज आहे. शब्द सामर्थ्य असलं पाहिजे, शब्द साठा प्रचंड असला पाहिजे. See what happens otherwise, you being in the teaching profession, you people must be knowing what is the status of the answer papers of our students. What is the status of research projects our students write? They are not able to write at length. They have an idea but fail to express it. कसं व्यक्त व्हायचं, कारण व्यक्त होण्यासाठी ती संकल्पना स्पष्ट करण्यासाठी, सांगण्यासाठी, मांडण्यासाठी त्याच्याकडे शब्दच नाही आहेत. So ultimately, where from vocabulary comes to us. Here actually is that missing link, We want to be actually an effective orators, effective teachers, communicating the concept that you have learned, understood, and maybe communicating the concept that now you have investigated, explored. But तुम्हाला मांडायची, where are the words? And unless and until actually a message is communicated effectively, the purpose of communication is not served. If you want to make it served, if you want to attain that objective of communicating your content, your research, you must have effective language, and the foundation, the backbone of effective language is vocabulary, terminology. तीच तर पाहिजे ना, म्हणजे कुठून येते? दोनच माध्यमाने येते मित्र. Either you listen a lot to good people, the great orators, maybe late Shivaji Rao Bhosle. Once he start talking, there will be a pin drop silence. Everybody is actually trying to capture every bit of the word. Why? Because the varieties of words that he uses to express the concepts. So listening. And the other one is, I tell you, reading. But reading is more concrete because you have to find actually the great orators to listen to the good content. But books, articles, other types of documents are easily available. That is another reason. And of course, to develop analytical thinking. You see, researchers' most important quality, I believe, is analytical thinking. Because everybody collects data. There are few, maybe 1 or 2% you can say in the totality. They are able to actually analyze the data, interpret data in the most meaningful way. Why there is a lot of value now for the data analysts? That is because they are the people who are able to think about the same data in a very unique way. तोच डेटा आपल्या समोर पण मांडला, आणखीन 10 लोकांसमोर मांडला, ज्यांच्याकडे ही विश्लेषण वृत्ती आहे, ज्यांच्याकडे विश्लेषण करण्याची कौशल्य आहे, ते लोक मात्र एवढ्या प्रभावीपणे त्याचं विश्लेषण करतात मित्र. How again you get that analytical mindset? I tell you, it's reading. Even it's reading of novels, detective stories and all that. I'm going to talk about that little later. So reading doesn't mean only research books reading. Reading of all types of reading material. That's what I will be talking about, what to read. But here I'm still to say one more, explain one more reason why to read, and that is to be a better writing. Be a better writer. See friends, there is a lot of demand for quality writers. As I was saying that, even an article becomes the most cited article, and the researcher becomes a person with highest stage index, or maybe the journal gets the highest impact factor. Why? Well, by virtue of your writing. And writing is made qualitative by virtue of reading. So these are some of the reasons why every researcher, every teacher once again must go back to that what is called as a deep reading, analytical reading, which is probably the missing link, at least I feel like that. So what to read? Friends, I tell you, here is the role of the library. It is the library as an agency of disseminating knowledge. It is the agency which makes you available easily accessible varieties of documents, print and electronic, no doubt about it. But even it is here a larger role of a librarian, that is to guide the reader a proper type of document. At present, friends, lot of reading material is available in the electronic format. And of course, equal amount is the printed format. The digital expansion has not affected the production rate of printed books. Still, a large number of books are made available in the print format. Of course, they are in the electronic format. What is the guidance that the librarians provide? Yes, they insist that you should read as much as possible. So diverse effects of digital reading. Digital reading is the most distracting reading. Our concentration span, our attention span is drastically decreasing because of digital reading, friends. This is, I am not saying, this is what is the current research in reading is telling. That it affects your concentration. It affects your reading, what you can say, tell you, it is all called scheming, binge watching, Z type of reading. That means read the first line, slide down fast to the last, read the last paragraph and something like that. So here, apart from of course that print and digital categorization, there are other types of documents and there is a great variety. Books, advanced books or reference books of and monographs and reference books of the subject on whatever topic you are doing research. You must read at least 2 to 3 sound books on the subject. Then your research becomes actually a world class. So, books and of course articles. Thanks to the digital technology.
याच्यावर होत नाही.
Recording in progress.
Across that digital screen, which ultimately is damaging our brain's capacity to concentrate. And that is the reason we have to read the other type of reading material. Then of course, apart from the books and articles, you have thesis, you have patents, you have got standards, you have got research reports, and of course you have got the other category, what is called as a literary work. Very valuable to develop your researcher's personality. I will be talking about that separately. And when I mean what to read, I tell you, apart from this, the core journals, you must read. See, the core journals which are actually being ranked on the basis of impact factor. Journals like Journal Citation Report, they bring out that citation, impact factor based reports. You should read those journals. You should read those articles which have been actually got the highest number of citations. You should read institutions' publications. For example, maybe publications of American Psychological Association, maybe publications of ICSR, Indian Council for Scientific Research, ICSSR, Indian Council for Historical Research. See, in our own nation itself, there are institutions which are publishing quality publications. You must read that. I'm still trying to answer that question, what to read. And also you must read milestone thesis. Yes, here is the point, you know, you can prove yourself as a different one. What is that different one? I know actually which are the best theses in the given subject. And I am going to read those books itself, those theses itself. That must be done. Apart from that, you must be choosy. Yes, friends, you have to be selective these days. You can't read everything that is published because we know there is a quality crisis. Everything that is published is not of quality. Selected of that, few of those documents published are of quality. So you have to be choosy. You must be able to select. Librarians help here, I tell you. They are the masters of information sources. They will be able to let you know which are the best documents in the given category. But here I was telling that yes, you must very deliberately read publications of certain publishers. Maybe, for example, Print is All of India, Wiley. These are the publishers, you know, there are academic press, for example, and then I am not naming everything. It is not possible also. But I have not named something doesn't mean actually they are of inferior quality. You have to be there cautious about it. Similarly, you must very deliberately make your decisions to read the books published by the best creative minds. For example, books of Nobel laureates. How can you stay away from, how can you actually deprive yourself? हे खरं तर आपण स्वतःहूनच ही संधी गमावण्यासारखं आहे की आपण जगातल्या सर्वोत्कृष्ट ब्रेन्सनी लिहिलेली पुस्तकं जर वाचत नसू, how can we become quality researchers? Impossible. So these are some of the items I tell you. You must very deliberately select. Be selective, because life is too short to read bad books. That is what is said. So considering that the number of publications, you have to be choosy there. And when it comes to specifically research, because this is actually the audience gathered here to talk about the role of libraries and institutions in research. As a researcher, you must read at least few books every time you go for conducting a research on research method. I tell you, friends, there are wonderful books, high quality books on research methods itself. Sage publishers, yes, I am deliberately, I am not marketing them, I am not publicizing them, but I must appreciate that. SAGE, Sage Publisher, is a world's largest publisher to publish books on research methodology. And I tell you, each of their book is absolutely of high quality. Wonderful. म्हणजे आपण रिसर्च करतोय, रिसर्च मेथड शिकवतोय, एखाद्या टॉपिकवर रिसर्च करण्याचं प्रयोजन आहे आणि त्या टॉपिकवरती रिसर्च करण्यासाठी किंवा त्या पद्धतीचा रिसर्च करण्यासाठी, मग सर्वे रिसर्च असेल, केस स्टडी असेल, एक्सपेरिमेंट असेल, आणखीन काय एथनोग्राफिक रिसर्च असेल, फिनोमेनॉलॉजी रिसर्च असेल, एनी टाईप ऑफ रिसर्च, तुम्ही त्या रिसर्च मेथडवरचं सेज पब्लिशरचं पुस्तक वाचलं नाही तर आय टेल यू देर आर ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी शॉर्ट कमिंग्स इन युअर रिसर्च. It is this publishers books of research. आणि एवढे छोटे छोटे मायक्रो आस्पेक्ट, फॉर एक्झाम्पल हाऊ टू कलेक्ट डेटा फ्रॉम चिल्ड्रन्स, लुक ॲट दॅट. असे कितीतरी स्पेशलाइज्ड आस्पेक्ट ज्याला आपल्याला म्हणता येईल संशोधनाचे, त्या प्रत्येक आस्पेक्टवर तुम्हाला सेज पब्लिशरच्या यादीमध्ये पुस्तक आढळेल. दॅट इज वाय आय एम अपेलिंग यू पीपल, you must read books on research method. And I tell you, every day there are some aspect of research that they are upcoming. For example, nowadays, how to collect data through the social medias, how to collect data through the various platforms like SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, everything, there is a book on that, I tell you. This newer aspect, visualization research, for example, or using those visualization in report writing. प्रत्येकावर या पब्लिशरनी त्यांचं रिसर्च ची पुस्तकं पब्लिश केलेली आहेत आणि दरवेळेस ते नवीन काहीतरी आणतात. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, नाउ देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च बीइंग कॅरीड आउट बाय युजिंग मिक्स्ड मेथड्स, and there are so many handbooks of mixed methods, I tell you, narrating every micro aspect of that methodology. Even literature review, they have published 2 wonderful books, I tell you. Every time whenever I am delivering lectures on literature review, I go to those books. And every time I find something new. Here actually what I wanted to tell you, there is a concept called rereading. पुन्हा वाचायचं आणि तुमचाही अनुभव असेल, तेच पुस्तक आपण जेव्हा दुसऱ्यांदा वाचतो, तिसऱ्यांदा वाचतो, 10व्यांदा वाचतो, तेव्हा प्रत्येक वेळेस ते पुस्तक आपल्याला नवीन काहीतरी देतं. दॅट इज द कॅपॅसिटी ऑफ बुक्स and that is the strength of rereading. So you must read the books published by Sage Publishers. One of their best books I always find very at entry level, so lucidly written by an Indian author, Ranjit Kumar, Kumar, research method. But then there are many of them. For example, even there are books on data coding and data editing. Look at that. And now must be data analytics and all that. Those are there. Apart from that, I tell you, since I am trying to answer what to read, there is a database produced by the Sage Research Methods, and that is known as SRMO, Sage Research Methods Online. I tell you, there are many value-added components on this database. One of their concept, what they call is a research method map. And I tell you, they give you actually which research data collection technique is associated with which method. You know that separating methods, techniques, tools, and even I tell you, there are data sets on this which are useful for you to go for what is called as a pilot analysis. So many of them. So when you are doing research, and if you are missing out Sage research, Sage Publishers, either in the form of printed books or in the form of their online platform called Sage Research Methods Online, you are missing something very, very useful, I tell you. Then there are, very specifically I must add this, by and large it is our assumption, it's not knowledge, assumption that okay, if I read one book of research method, that too I read it at the beginning of my career, teaching career or research career, more than sufficient. Why should I do that? No, friends. I tell you, of late, the word of research methodology is such a developed one. Developed, I am saying, not even developing. That there are books of research methods for each of the discipline. For example, research methods for psychology, research methods for history, research methods for literature, research methods for geography. Just look at that. What they must be doing? They must be more pinpointedly highlighting that if you are doing research in this discipline and this subject, these are the micro elements you have to keep in mind, you have to consider, so that your research becomes a quality research. So remember, friend, for every subject and discipline, or maybe even every segment of the population, to collect data, there are books on that. Reading those will put you on a quality platform, I tell you. Apart from this, I tell you, these are the subject books and books of research methodology. I said, you must very, very deliberately, as a superior researcher, must read books on creativity and innovation. Ultimately, one of the purposes of research is to create something new, innovate. If that is the case, we must read books which are already talking about creativity and innovation, which are talking about the creative thing that they have created, new thing that they have created. Don't you think actually that will inject a thought in you so that you become a superior person, you become actually stalwart of your own occupation, profession. There are a number of books, I won't be able to tell you the list of it, but even if you actually type something on books on innovation in your library catalog, or if you talk with your librarian, they will be able to give you a list of those books which are guiding you for what is called as research reading. Plus, you must very, very deliberately, I tell you, at least in the early career of your research. But I tell you, in every stage of your research, you must read biographies of researchers and explorers and inventors, because they will let you know that such and such problem during your research is not a new thing. It is a routine part. You are doing something, means problems are going to be there. Who is going to tell this? This is the actual researcher who succeeded in life, who became the great researchers, but not without hurdles. आणि त्याला पण सगळ्या समस्या त्याच्या प्रत्येक संशोधनाच्या टप्प्यात आलेल्या होत्या, पण त्याने त्या कशा पार केल्या हे कळणार कसं आपल्याला? हे स्टॉलवर्ड्स जे मोठे झालेले त्यांच्या संशोधनामुळे, पण ते मोठे झालेले त्यांना आलेल्या अडचणीमुळे पण हे आपल्याला कळणारच नाही ना. हे कळण्यासाठी वाचनाशिवाय दुसरा पर्यायच नाही. I tell you, there is a book called Letters to Young Scientists. Letters to Young Scientists. This gentleman who studied ants, मुंग्यांवरचा रिसर्च होता त्याचा, विल्यमसन or Wilson something, Wilson I tell you. He says that to become a scientist, what you have to have? Good marks? He says no. To become a great scientist, you have to have passion. How great! तिची लगन म्हणतो, तो तुमची त्याच्यातली जी इन्व्हॉल्वमेंट म्हणतो, त्याच्यात हरवून जाणं म्हणतो, हे एकदा असलं की तुम्ही ग्रेट सायंटिस्ट होताच. Look at that. Unless you read such types of books, how you will get that motivation, that inspiration? Yes, I am on the right track. I am going to be the great contributor to my own discipline by way of research that will come there. And that is why you must read biographies, maybe including Einstein's biography, for example. There is a good book called Lab Girls. This is for women researchers. And like that, I tell you, innumerable of them, that each one will inspire you to do something wonderful in your life. Apart from that, there are many thought-provoking books. This is another category. See, what we do, it is my own experience, and gradually I have changed it. की पुस्तकं म्हटलं की ठीक आहे, त्या विषयावरचं एक पुस्तक असतं ते वाचावं. टेक्स्ट पुस्तकं वाचण्याचं आता आपलं वय नाही, कारण नाही, म्हणून आपण तिकडे बघतच नाही. पण बाकीची जी पुस्तकं असतात त्यातलं पुस्तक आहे एवढ्याच कॅटेगरी. आम्ही लायब्ररीवाले, यस, आय एम प्राऊड टू बी लायब्ररीवाला मायसेल्फ. तर लायब्ररीवाले म्हणून आम्हाला हे बारकावे माहिती असतात. त्यातला हा एक बारकावा आहे की विचार प्रवर्तक ग्रंथ असतात. ते ग्रंथ तुम्हाला प्रत्येक त्यातला शब्द, त्यातलं वाक्य, त्यातला परिच्छेद तुम्हाला विचार करायला प्रवृत्त करतो, तुम्हाला थांबायला कंपेल करतो. यू मस्ट स्टॉप हिअर अँड थिंक. अरे केवढी मोठी क्वालिटी आहे बघा ही पुस्तकांची. आणि ही अशी पुस्तकं सगळ्या भाषेत लिहिली जात आहेत, सगळ्या देशात लिहिली जात आहेत, आपल्याकडे पण ती आहेत. मला असं वाटतं की ही पुस्तकं जेव्हा वाचतो तेव्हा आपल्यातला तो जो संशोधक हा जागा होतो. खरं तर त्याला जागा करावं लागतं, तो आपल्यात दडलेला आहे. आणि मग ही काही नावं आहेत बघा. रिचर्ड डॉकिन्सने एक पुस्तक लिहिलं, सायन्सच्या लोकांना माहिती आहे, सेल्फ इज जीन. Very wonderful book actually. That is how the genes work in, or Emperor's New Mind concerning computer's mind in the law of physics. Look at the range that they have covered. Or डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर, एनिलेशन ऑफ कास्ट. वाचलंच पाहिजे, तुम्हाला सांगतो. ते मग आपल्याला कळतं की क्रुक्स ऑफ द मॅटर काय आहे, त्यातलं खरं गहन तत्व काय दडलेलं आहे ती. आणि मग अशी, किंवा आता तुम्हाला सांगतो आपल्या त्या कोविडच्या काळामध्ये एक पुस्तक आलं होतं, वर्ड विदाउट वर्क. वर्ड विदाउट वर्क म्हणजे काम नसलेलं जग. आणि त्याचं एक प्रत्यांतर आता आपल्याला येतंय बघा की 5 दिवसाचा आठवडा झाला होता तो आधीचा, नंतर आता 4 दिवसाचा करायचं चाललंय. काही देश त्याच्यावर आता ऍक्च्युअली प्रयोग करतायत आणि 3 दिवसाचा आठवडा करायचं चाललंय. वर्ड विदाउट वर्क. मग काय होणार? कामं कोण करणार? तो रोबो बाबा आहे ना, सगळं तोच तर करणार. आणि ते आहे तेच करणार आहे, तुम्हाला काहीच करायचं नाही. आता आपले विद्यार्थी आपण बघतो की ते प्रत्येक प्रश्नाचं उत्तर त्याच्याकडे शोधतायत. मग अशी पुस्तकं जेव्हा आपण वाचू ना, तेव्हा आपल्या मेंदूला मुंगे आणण्याचं काम. तो फ्रँच काफका नावाचा जो ऑथर होता, फ्रेंच ऑथर, तो म्हणतो वाचन तुम्हाला दंश करतं. म्हणजे दंश केल्यावर जे आपल्या शरीरातल्या सगळ्या सेन्सेस जागृत होतात की नाही, ती अशी पुस्तकं वाचल्यावर होतात. ही पुस्तकं नाही वाचलं तर आपला माणसापासून संशोधकांपर्यंतचा, प्राण्यांपासून माणसापर्यंतचा प्रवास कसा होणार आहे. आणि म्हणून मला असं वाटतं की ही जी थॉट प्रोवोकिंग पुस्तकं आहेत ना, ही आपण वाचलीच पाहिजे. MITच्या एका बाईंनी पुस्तक लिहिलं, अलोन टुगेदर. अलोन टुगेदर म्हणजे आज बघा सोशल मीडियाच्या काळात काय, आपण एकत्र असतो कुठं, प्लॅटफॉर्मवर, फेसबुकवर एकत्र आहे, पण अदरवाईज आपण एकटेच असतो. कुठल्या दिशेला चाललेले आहे जग. आज एकटेपणाच्या भावनेमुळे किती लोकांना मानसिक समस्या जाणवत आहेत. मला असं वाटतं की एव्हरीथिंग ऑर द व्हेरी लेटेस्ट वन, नोआ युवाल हरारी, यू मस्ट हॅव हर्ड अबाउट इट. तो फिलॉसॉफीचा माणूस आहे आणि त्याने आता लेटेस्ट लिहिलेलं आहे. आधी पण त्यांची ह्युमन काइंड आणि होमोड्युअस, माणूस कसा आता एक प्रकारे देवत्वाकडे चाललाय, अमरत्वाकडे चाललेला आहे. आता माणसाचं आयुष्यमान किती वाढलंय बघा. आता ते 100 वर्ष फार वाटत नाहीयेत आणि मग तो म्हणतो 150, 200, 300, 400 असं होऊ शकतं. वाचायला नको काय, काय काय त्याचं काय म्हणणं काय. किंवा आता त्यांनी लेटेस्ट लिहिलेलं आहे नेक्सस म्हणून. अशी किती उदाहरणं सांगता येतील. सो फ्रेंड्स, रीड दिस थॉट प्रोवोकिंग बुक्स अँड यू विल बी at advantage. And then very importantly, I am also recommending read novels. Yes, detective stories. And then all those suspense stories, thrillers, courtroom dramas. ही जी कॅटेगरी पुस्तकं आहेत ना, गूढ कथा, रहस्य कथा, हेर कथा, तुमच्यातल्या संशोधकाला नवीन त्या गोष्टीकडं नवीन दृष्टीने कसं पाहायचं हे शिकवतं. असं म्हणतात, ज्यांनी खूप अमर चित्रकथा आणि डिटेक्टिव्ह स्टोरीज वाचल्या आहेत ती मुलं खूप छोट्या कंटेंटचा मोठा आशयाबद्दल विचार करू शकतात. आपण खरं तर मोठे झालोय, ते मोठेत्व आपल्यामध्ये येण्यासाठी ही अनालिटिकल स्किल यायला पाहिजे. दॅट डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट दी नॉवेल्स. विशेषतः जे सामाजिक कादंबऱ्या असतात, वैज्ञानिक कादंबऱ्या तर नक्कीच तुमच्यातला वैज्ञानिकाला आणखीन पुश करतात, पण सामाजिक कादंबऱ्या तुमच्यातलं मनुष्यत्व, तुमच्यातलं सामाजिकत्व हे खरं तर फोरफ्रंटला आणतं ना. त्याला काय प्रकट करण्याचं जे सामर्थ्य आहे त्याच्यामध्ये ते खूप मोठं आहे. सो डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट फ्रेंड. रीड ॲटलीस्ट 1 नॉवेल पर मंथ. दे विल गिव्ह यू. आणि ती आत्ताचीच पाहिजे असं नाहीये. म्हणजे जॉर्ज ओरवेलनी 1984 हे जे पुस्तक लिहिलं होतं ते 1948 मध्ये लिहिलं होतं आणि पब्लिश झालं 48 मध्ये. टायटल आहे 1984 आणि त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला सांगतो सर्वेलन्स. आज जे प्रत्येक ठिकाणी आपण बोर्ड वाचतो ना, यू आर अंडर CCTV कॅमेरा सर्वेलन्स, हे त्यांनी 48 साली प्रकाशित झालेल्या पुस्तकामध्ये एवढ्या विस्ताराने लिहिलेलं आहे की असं येऊ शकतं. मग त्याच्यामुळे तुम्हाला पण इमॅजिन, टुडे इट इज कन्सिडर युअर क्रिएटिव्हिटी, your imagination power, your critical thinking are the most useful qualities of human being. Even job market मध्ये पण हेच आहे. आणि एक चांगलं कॉन्ट्रीब्युटर म्हणून पण कुठल्याही फील्ड मध्ये असो, हीच तर क्वालिटी, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, क्रिएटिव्ह थिंकिंग, इमॅजिनेशन. I tell you, each one of these points is injected to your brain by the novels. म्हणून कथा कादंबऱ्यांकडे अजिबात दुर्लक्ष करू नका. आपण आता अकॅडमिक्स मध्ये आहोत, रिसर्च करतोय आणि आपण कथा कादंबऱ्या वाचायच्या का हे आपण मुलांच्या बाबतीत पण करतो की आपण त्यांना म्हणतो तुम्हाला मार्क मिळणार आहेत का गोष्टीची पुस्तकं वाचून, पण खरं तर ते वाचून ते माणूस बनणार आहेत हे आपण विसरून जातो. तेच आपण मोठेपणी पण होतं. सो प्लीज डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट नॉवेल. डू रीड दॅम अँड देन यू रीड बुक्स ऑफ सेल्फ हेल्प कॅटेगरी, अनदर कॅटेगरी. त्याला सक्सेस लिटरेचर पण म्हणतात. व्हॉट आर दीज सेल्फ हेल्प बुक्स? आय टेल यू, these are the books that form habit in you. These are the books that change your attitude. These are the books that increase your confidence. I tell you, these are the books that help you to maintain wonderful interpersonal relations. These are the books help you to improve your communication skill. How many qualities are in these books? Self-help books. Read that Atomic Habits. James Clear, wonderful book that actually helps you to have a new. We are supposed to think fast, we think slowly. That mismatch creates crisis in life, that puts us in loss, and that is why you have to read. Many of these books are, they are written to train your brain. These are the books, they are written to increase your concentration. There is a book called Deep Work. Is our work today has become shallow? अमेरिकेमधले एक सोशिओलॉजिस्ट आहे, त्यांनी पुस्तक लिहिलं 5-10 वर्षापूर्वीचं, द शॅलोज, उथळपणा आहे. ते म्हणतात की माझ्या मनामध्ये जे एक सुपर फाईन प्रोफेसर आहेत युनिव्हर्सिटी मधले निकोलस कार, ते म्हणतात की माझं वाचन आता उथळ झालंय. आणि हे जे नील कॅल्पोर्ट आहेत ते डीप वर्क वाले, ते असं म्हणतात की आता आपण प्रत्येक कार्य उथळपणाने करतोय. वी डोंट गो इन टू द डीपनेस ऑफ इट. सो दॅट इज वाय ही हॅज रिटन अ बुक कॉल्ड डीप वर्क. There are so many books which help you to increase the concentration power. That is so important. You people know that. Now the World Health Organization has recognized ADD and ADHD, attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, हे आता आजार आहेत असं जागतिक आरोग्य संघटनेचं म्हणणं आहे. आणि मग या आजारांवर सोल्युशन काय? तर तुमची कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन कॅपॅसिटी वाढली पाहिजे, तुमची मेमरी वाढली पाहिजे. Because Alzheimer-like diseases, they are increasing and they are coming to early age. त्याच्यामुळे होतं काय, विस्मरण होतंय. विस्मरण झालं तर तुम्ही इमॅजिन करा काय होईल. If we don't remember anything, if we don't recognize anything, if memory is lost from our brain, I tell you, life is going to be very miserable. To save us, we have to have these qualities which self-help category. Self-help category books are like manuals, I tell you. They are like manuals only. जीवनाच्या प्रत्येक समस्येवरचं उत्तर ते देतात आणि ते तुम्हाला खूप सॉर्ट आउट करून देतात. डायरेक्टली अप्लिकेबल. म्हणजे कथा कादंबऱ्यांमध्ये पण नॉलेज असतं, त्यांच्यात पण शिकवण असते. पण यांच्यातलं जे असतं सेल्फ हेल्प कॅटेगरीतलं पुस्तक, ते इंजेक्शन सारखं असतं मित्र. म्हणजे डाएट खाऊन तुम्हाला सगळी विटॅमिन्स प्रोटीन्स मिळतील तो भाग वेगळा, पण इंजेक्शन दिलं की आपल्याला काय होतं माहितीये की ते रक्तात एवढं चटकन मिसळतं आणि त्याचे परिणाम दिसायला लागतात. इट इज this is the capacity of self help books, and great variety is there. I tell you, read it. Yes, I am coming to the last part of my presentation, and that is I will be talking something about how to read. Friends, reading is a technique, reading is a science. We have completely lost this track. आपला असा समज झालाय, अक्षर ओळख झाली, शब्दफोड करता यायला लागली, वाक्य वाचायला लागली आणि परिच्छेद वाचायला आलं की आपण वाचक झालो. नॉट ॲट ऑल. यस, द रीडिंग सायन्स सेज दॅट रीडिंग इज absorbing the content. Reading is understanding the content. Reading is comprehend what has been written. Reading is application of that knowledge in your life. That's reading. नाहीतर काय होतं आपल्याला माहिती की हो मी महिन्याला एक पुस्तक वाचतो. Oh, good. But can you tell me 5 things from the book that you have picked up? You know this, there is a technique of reading called notice and note. Yes, I repeat. आणि त्याच्यावर एक पुस्तकच आहे, नोटीस अँड नोट. ते काय सांगतं माहिती का, की तुम्ही जे पुस्तक वाचताय त्यातला महत्वाचा, ज्याला अर्क म्हणतो आपण त्याला, तो अर्क तुम्हाला शोधता यायला पाहिजे. वेचता येणं जे म्हणतो ना, दॅट इज नोटिसिंग. 200 पानाचं पुस्तक आहे, प्रत्येक शब्द तर डोक्यात राहणं शक्यच नाहीये. आणि 20 कन्सेप्ट असते तर 20 लक्षात राहणं पण शक्य नाही, 20 अंमलात आणणं पण शक्य नाही. कॅन यू प्रायोरिटाइज? कॅन यू प्रिपेअर अ रँक लिस्ट? दीज आर द 5 थिंग्स. आता हल्ली युजीसीचं नॅशनल एज्युकेशन पॉलिसी जे आणलेलं आहे त्याच्यामध्ये एक कन्सेप्ट आहे, ॲज अ अकॅडमिशियन्स यू पीपल नो दॅट, दे कॉल इट लर्निंग आउटकम. यस, मध्ये त्यांनी करिक्युलमच बनवून घेतली होती, लर्निंग आउटकम बेस्ड करिक्युलम फ्रेमवर्क म्हणून. लर्निंग आउटकम मध्ये काय अपेक्षित आहे की विद्यार्थ्यांना आधीच सांगा, जाणीव करून द्या, जागृत करा की तुम्हाला या टॉपिकच्या अभ्यासानंतर काय मिळणार, म्हणजे मग त्याच्याकडे ते जास्त जागरूकतेने बघते. फॅन्टास्टिक. आम्ही वाचनवाले काय म्हणतो, जसं लर्निंग आउटकम आहे तसं रीडिंग आउटकम का नसावं, असायलाच पाहिजे. म्हणून रीडिंगच्या टेक्निक्स मध्ये हाऊ टू रीड विथ आउटकम इन माइंड. हे पुस्तक वाचल्यावर मला काय मिळणार आहे, टेंटेटिव्ह यादी तर करा, टेंटेटिव्ह सुरुवातीला, आणि नंतर पक्की करा. 5 things I got it from this book: dedication, confidence, concentration, good interpersonal relations, something like that. Honesty, even integrity, ethical behavior. रिसर्चर साठी तर खूपच महत्वाचा आहे, तो एक टॉपिकच होता तुमच्या याच्यामध्ये. मुद्दा असा आहे, आर यू एबल टू नोटीस वन अँड आर यू गोइंग टू नोट इट डाऊन. तुम्ही लिहिलंच नाही वाचल्यानंतर काहीतरी, तुम्ही वाचलंच नाही असा त्याचा सिंपल अर्थ आहे. यस, बिकॉज दॅट नोटिंग डाऊन, आणि लिहिण्यासाठी पुन्हा तुम्हाला तुमचे स्वतःचे शब्द लागतात, तुमचे विचार लागतात. इट इज सेड दॅट युअर रीडिंग हॅज टू बी इंटरॅक्टिव्ह, as if you are talking with the author. Yes, while reading you must have hundreds of questions in your mind, that which, why, where, when, where, who, when, how. That WH family of questions must be there. That is critical reading. तुम्हाला वाचताना एकही प्रश्न पडला नाही म्हणजे तुम्ही पुन्हा वाचलंच नाही असंच त्याचा अर्थ आहे. दॅट इज वाय while reading you must be able to notice and note and deep reading. कृष्ण कुमार पैकराव सरांना माहिती असतील, NCERTचे माजी डायरेक्टर होते. त्यांनी 2 वर्षापूर्वी एक पुस्तक लिहिलेलं आहे, पढना जरा सोचना, आणि कल्लोळी नावाच्या माणसाने त्याचं मराठीमध्ये भाषांतर केले, वाचन विचार. कृष्ण कुमार जे NCERTचे डायरेक्टर राहिलेले ग्रस्त आहेत, ज्यांचा वाचनावर, शिक्षणावर, अध्ययनावर प्रचंड अभ्यास आहे, ते असं म्हणतात की आजचं वाचन हे उथळ झालेलं आहे, डीप रीडिंग नाहीये, आणि आपल्याला विद्यार्थ्यांना हे शिकवावं लागेल, आणि त्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला शिकावं लागेल. then only we will be able to communicate back to our students, insist them, teach them that your reading has to be a deep reading. And then finally, हे पुस्तक वाचल्यावर तुमचं स्वतःचं काही इंटरप्रिटेशन राहिलं असतं का, तुमचं मत असू शकतं का. सी, Amartya Sen wrote a book, Argumentative India. What he means by that, yes, we have that capacity as a Indian people, but we as individual, am I able to argue? Am I going to put a different point of view there, की याच्यापेक्षा वेगळा हा पॉइंट असू शकतो, त्याचा वेगळा अर्थ असू शकतो. Unless and until, and for that purpose, writing means writing your opinion, writing your reaction, writing your comment, and reading also means connecting your present reading to your past reading. मग याच्यासारखंच पुस्तक कुठलं होतं, याच्यासारखाच विचार कोणता होता, याच्यासारखाच लेखक कोणता होता, याच्यापेक्षा वेगळं कसं त्यांनी मांडलं होतं. Look at that. Now you become a reader. You doesn't simply become, you stay or remain only teacher. You become a reader, and even you are noticing the gaps. हे मिस आउट झालेलं आहे. That gap becomes your topics for research. Look at that. Ultimately, where from you get topics, it's there. And write summary, and that becomes a fantastic reading. I tell you, what I wanted, that you people as attendee to this conference should be able to prove yourself a very different people by virtue of a wonderful reading. I wish and I hope that you are a great readers, and thereby you are contributing, like your institution is contributing to your research, your library is contributing to research, and you are contributing by virtue of a avid reader, voracious reader. I wish you all the best for that. आणि पुन्हा एकदा महाविद्यालयाचे, त्यांच्या सगळ्या संघट अधिकाऱ्यांचे, जगदीश कुलकर्णी सर, सुटकर सर, पैकराव सर आणि सोळसळे मॅडम, सर्वांचे आभार मानतो आणि थांबतो. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
थँक्यू सर.
थँक्यू सर.
now session is open for if somebody wants to ask questions. कोणाला प्रश्न काही विचारायचे सरांना? Audience. Okay. So over to you, Dr. Wagmare sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable and यानंतर ह्या द्वितीय सत्राचे चेअरपर्सन आदरणीय डॉक्टर पायकवाड सर यांना या ठिकाणी विनंतीपूर्वक पाचारण करतो की त्यांनी या द्वितीय सत्राचे या ठिकाणी अध्यक्ष समारोप करावा. आदरणीय पायकवाड सर.
बीजभाषणानंतरच्या दुसऱ्या ज्ञानसत्राचे महनीय व्याख्याते आदरणीय डॉक्टर राजेंद्र कुंभार सर यांनी खरं तर ज्ञानाची निर्मिती आणि त्याचं प्रसिद्धीकरण किंवा प्रकाशन ही अतिशय महत्त्वपूर्ण अशा प्रकारची बाब आहे आणि ती बाब वाचनाच्या स्पर्शानं किती परिसस्पर्श तिला वाचनाचा झाल्याच्या नंतर कसं तिचं सोन्यात रूपांतर होते याच्यावर त्यांनी अतिशय मौलिक असे विचार सांगितलेले आहेत. आपल्या संतांनी देखील आपल्याला सांगितलेलं आहे की प्रसंगी अखंडित वाचित जावे आणि दिसा माझी काहीतरी लिहित जावे. असा जो काही तो भाग आहे तो संतांच्या भूमीमध्ये, मराठवाडा ही आपली संतांची भूमी असल्यामुळं इथं तो अतिशय जास्त प्रमाणात त्याचं वृक्षामध्ये रूपांतर व्हायला पाहिजेत. नांदेड एज्युकेशन सोसायटी असेल किंवा आपलं स्वामी रामानंद तीर्थ विद्यापीठ असेल, ह्या परिक्षेत्रामधल्या तसं तर खरं तर महाराष्ट्रामधून इथं ह्या परिषदेसाठी प्रतिनिधी उपस्थित आहेत. ह्या सगळ्यांनी वाचनाच्या संदर्भामधलं ज्ञानसंस्कृती किंवा ज्ञानात्मक समाज निर्मिती आपल्याला करायची असेल तर वाचनाला पर्याय नाही. आणि आपल्या नवीन राष्ट्रीय शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये देखील आता अध्ययन निष्पत्ती, सरांनी अतिशय चांगला मुद्दा तो मांडला की अध्ययनार्थीला किंवा लर्नरला आपण सांगितलं पाहिजे की हे ज्ञान संपादन केल्यानंतर किंवा हे असं वाचन केल्याच्या नंतर तुम्हाला ह्या गोष्टी, हे कौशल्य, हे ज्ञान प्राप्त होईल. हे जर अगोदरच सांगितलं आपण तर त्याला अतिशय चांगल्या प्रकारची प्रेरणा मिळते, त्यांना मोटिवेशन होते. ह्या सगळ्या बाबी आता ह्या नव्या ज्ञानात्मक सोसायटीमध्ये म्हणण्यापेक्षा नवीन NEPच्या याच्यामधल्या आपल्याला अतिशय अनिवार्य केलेल्या आहेत त्या. आणि त्याच्यासाठी सर हे तुमचं अतिशय छान असं व्याख्यान आमच्या सगळ्या इथं उपस्थित असलेल्या ज्ञान महर्षीसाठी, विद्वज्जनासाठी अतिशय उपयुक्त अशा प्रकारचं होतं. मी पुन्हा एकदा तुमचं खरं तर फेस टू फेस इथं झालं असलं तर आणखीन एकदा इथे छान झालं असतं, पण हरकत नाही. त्यानिमित्तानं आता तंत्रज्ञान आणि हे सगळं विकसित झालेलं आहे, दूरशिक्षणाचा जमाना सगळा आलेला आहे. पण ह्याच्यामध्ये देखील मल्टी गोष्टीचं म्हणजे अध्यक्ष इथं होते, त्याच्यानंतर रेपोर्टर इथं होते आणि तुम्ही तसं म्हणजे त्याला आपण हायब्रिड मोड म्हणतो, तर त्या हायब्रिड मोडच्या संदर्भामध्ये हे ज्ञानसत्र अतिशय छान झालेलं आहे. याचा उपयोग आपले जे काही पॉप्युलर आर्टिकल असतील, संशोधनात्मक आर्टिकल असतील, हे लेखन करण्यासाठी आम्हाला नक्कीच होणार आहे तिथं. त्याच्यानंतर आपण अतिशय खूप जणाला API स्टाईल म्हणजे अमेरिकन सायकोलॉजिकल असोसिएशननं जे काही संदर्भ देण्याची प्रक्रिया केलेली आहे तीच खूप जणांना माहीत होती. पण आणखीन आपण त्याच्यातल्या वेगवेगळ्या संदर्भ लेखनाच्या शैली सांगितल्या आम्हाला, त्याही अतिशय महत्त्वपूर्ण अशा प्रकारच्या भाग आहेत. ह्यासाठी खरं तर प्रश्न उत्तराचा कार्यक्रम आणखी थोडासा जास्त व्हायला पाहिजेत होता, कारण काही गोष्टी, पण तो इथं डिस्टन्सच्या माध्यमातून थोडासा लॅकुना राहिलेला आहे. पुन्हा एकदा अतिशय छान व्याख्यान दिल्याबद्दल आणि इथं संयोजकांनी अध्यक्षीय समापन करण्याची संधी दिल्याबद्दल मी धन्यवाद व्यक्त करतो. आणि माझी हे 2 शब्द समारोपाचे जे अध्यक्षीय समारोपाचे होते ते संपन्न झाले असे जाहीर करतो.
धन्यवाद सर. सरांनी अगदी संक्षिप्त स्वरूपामध्ये अध्यक्ष समारोपच्या माध्यमातून ह्या द्वितीय सत्राचा त्यांनी समारोप केलेला आहे. त्यानंतर ह्या द्वितीय सत्राचं अगदी संक्षिप्त स्वरूपामध्ये अहवाल मांडण्यासाठी आदरणीय डॉक्टर शोभा सोळसुळे मॅडम यांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी हा संक्षिप्त अहवाल या ठिकाणी मांडावा.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You are very nicely explain how to research ethics, and language is very important for research, and research writing is must. How to analyze data, how to interpret the data, review of literature, report writing, and sage publication, all topic covered in the research, many books published on the research methodology. What kinds of book we have read? You are very nicely explained. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
थँक्यू मॅडम. यानंतर या ठिकाणी उपस्थित असलेले चेअरपर्सन आणि रॅपोर्टर यांचा या ठिकाणी सहभाग प्रमाणपत्र देऊन या ठिकाणी त्यांचं स्वागत होणार आहे. आदरणीय या द्वितीय सत्राचे चेअरपर्सन आदरणीय डॉक्टर पायकराव सर यांचे या ठिकाणी सहभाग प्रमाणपत्र आणि स्मृती चिन्ह देऊन स्वागत करण्यासाठी आदरणीय पीपल्स महोदयाचे ग्रंथपाल संदीपजी गायकवाड सरांना विनंती करतो की त्यांचं या ठिकाणी स्वागत करायचं आहे. यानंतर या द्वितीय सत्राच्या रॅपोर्टर आदरणीय सुषमा मॅडम यांचे देखील या ठिकाणी सहभाग प्रमाणपत्र आणि स्मृती चिन्ह या ठिकाणी देऊन स्वागत होत आहे. आदरणीय हाटकर सर या ठिकाणी स्वागत करत आहेत. थँक्यू सर. आज या
वाघमारे सरांना सर्टिफिकेट देण्याची विनंती मी सुतकर सरांना करतो. धन्यवाद सर. आता आभार प्रदर्शन करावं असं मी वाघमारे सरांना विनंती करतो.
ओके. आपल्या सर्वांचा जास्तीचा वेळ न घेता या द्वितीय सत्राच्या ठिकाणी आभार व्यक्त करतोय. सर्वप्रथमतः आपल्याला ह्या द्वितीय सत्रामध्ये मार्गदर्शन करण्यासाठी आदरणीय प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर कुंभार सर या ठिकाणी ऑनलाईन उपस्थित होते. त्यांनी मार्गदर्शन केलं, त्याबद्दल त्यांचे या ठिकाणी मनपूर्वक आभार. त्यानंतर ह्या द्वितीय सत्राचे कार्यवाहक आदरणीय चेअरपर्सन आदरणीय डॉक्टर पायकराव सर या ठिकाणी उपस्थित राहिले आणि त्यांनी ह्या सत्राचे अध्यक्षस्थान स्वीकारलं, त्यांचं देखील या ठिकाणी आभार. आणि दुसरं म्हणजे सर्वात महत्त्वाचं, ह्या द्वितीय सत्राचे संक्षिप्त स्वरूपामध्ये अहवाल सादर करण्यासाठी रॅपोर्टर म्हणून ज्यांनी कार्य केलेलं आहे ते आदरणीय डॉक्टर सुळसुळे मॅडम या ठिकाणी उपस्थित राहिल्या, त्यांचे देखील आभार. आणि सर्वात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे हे सत्र यशस्वी करण्यासाठी आपण सर्व श्रोतेगण आवश्यक आहेत. त्या अनुषंगाने आमच्या नांदेड जिल्ह्यातील विद्यापीठातील सर्व सन्माननीय ग्रंथपाल मार्गदर्शक बंधू भगिनी या ठिकाणी उपस्थित राहिले, त्यांचे देखील या ठिकाणी आभार. आणि ह्या कार्यक्रमाचे द्वितीय सत्रानंतर पुढील मार्गदर्शन करण्यासाठी आदरणीय सरांना या ठिकाणी पाचारण करतोय.
आपण सर्वजण इथे आला त्याच्याबद्दल मी आपला आभारी आहे. आणि सर्वात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे सर्वांना जरी पेपर प्रेझेंटेशन करायचं नसलं तरी जे खरंच अभ्यासू आहेत त्यांनी पेपर प्रेझेंटेशन करावं असं माझी त्यांना विनंती आहे. कारण एका जरी विद्यार्थ्यांनी एक जरी पेपर प्रेझेंट केला तरी त्याच्यामधून बरंच काही शिकण्यासारखं असतं. आणि ते त्यांच्यासाठीच नाही तर जे ऑडियन्स आहेत त्यांनाही समजतं की आपण कुठं चुकू शकतो, काय करू शकतो. त्याच्यामुळं ते सेशन स्किप न करता जरी एक असला तरी ते पेपर सेशन नाही तर ते इन्व्हायटेड टॉक होऊ शकतं. ओके. त्याच्याबद्दल आणि दुसरं म्हणजे आमच्या कोणत्याही स्टाफ करून थोडीशी जरी गैरसोय झाली असेल त्याच्याबद्दल मी दिलगिरी व्यक्त करतो. आणि ज्या अडचणी असतील त्या सोडण्यास मी आपल्यापर्यंत पोहोचलो असेल असं मला वाटतं. थँक्यू. उद्याचं शेड्यूल 10 चालू होईल. पुढे छोटे छोटे उद्या टॉक राहतील जे आपल्याच भागामधले आहेत पण जे चांगलं काम करत आहेत त्यांना संधी म्हणून आगाव सर असतील किंवा विष्णू पवार सर असतील किंवा आणखीन आपल्यापैकीच जे प्राध्यापक आहेत जे लायब्ररीच्या विषयामध्ये काही नवीन करू पाहत आहेत किंवा ज्यांनी ऑलरेडी थोडंसं काम करत आहेत. त्यामुळं आपण भारतामधल्या महाराष्ट्रामधल्या हुशार विद्यार्थ्यांना पण हुशार स्पीकरला पण संधी द्यायची आहे आणि आपल्यामध्येही जे हुरहुनरी किंवा जे काम करणारे आहेत त्यांनाही आपण मान सन्मानानं आपण देणार आहोत. त्यामुळं त्यांचे छोटे छोटे टॉक असतील. आपलं एखाद्या विषयामध्ये स्पेशलायझेशन असेल तेही मला सांगावं. आपण त्यांचं सुद्धा सगळ्यांसमोर एक्सप्लोरेशन करूया, त्यांना संधी देऊया. थँक्यू.